Alrighty. It should be everything. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Azukai here. I'm gonna be commentating for the finals. We have Crusaders versus TKT coming right up for you. Best of 7. We are going to see these two champions fight off to decide who is the best team in the CBL season of Tyranny. And let's be honest, I do have my money on Crusaders having advantage and also already beating TKT, but TKT is a very good team. They were able to take off a match from Crusaders when they last met. Let's see if they can take off more than a match and beat Crusaders for the title. But in the end, we'll only have to wait and see who will be the victor. For the finals, does look like we'll have a Linwu Fortress match starting off regardless. So Linwu Fortress is default, so both teams will have a chance to attack on Linwu Fortress. We've got some strange pick bans. I do have information on the pick bans for these, but I'll save it for later. Tell you guys what it is when we get closer. We actually only have 3 days left before. Give me the drops. Hey, Nathan. The drop should be on. I'm not 100% sure, but it should be. Hello, Izaku. I do have drops on this channel. I'm wondering whether or not this will be a 3-minute delay. I don't know why it's on a 3-minute delay, but it is. Alrighty, we have the first attack on Linwu Fortress. We're gonna see either Crusaders or TKT attack first. This is a 10v10 map introduced during the season of during the Dynasty season. It is quite the map. Very peculiar. It does have a lot of mechanics in it, but a lot underused. We got the tunnel that I don't think anyone has used very much. Taking a look at the unit composition, let's bring this down. Lots of Iron Reapers, lots of Medals. So we got Imperial Pike and 2 Actuators coming out from Crusaders. And of course we see something similar, Medals and Iron Reapers. A 10v10 map will rely on frontline infantry to carry the day. Both teams going in for the Iron Reaper and Medals. Very strong units. 1 Keshig though, so a Keshig available for TKT. TKT is nothing too interesting, but interestingly enough, actually, Crusaders going in with 3 muskets. Probably one of the more fascinating things I've ever seen. 3 muskets coming out for TKT. Three pikes as well. No spears. I wonder why no spears. But here we're off. Every single one at the south side. So we're going to see Crusaders assaulting that wall break. I I don't know why people go for this wall break so often. There are plenty of options. Maybe the other options are just not, how to say, not, there's no incentives for the other options, I guess. Hard to say, but muskets will easily destroy that with a musket bomb, blasting it apart into pieces. Not getting up immediately, Crusaders do choose to kind of sit behind the wall. We've got some mortars coming out from the defenders. TKT is... Oh, some mortars out for... some mortars out for Crusaders as well. Interesting. We've got a lot of matches to get through today. Crusaders obviously up by 1 point by automatically... And you can't even see my face. My goodness. What have I done? Crusaders finally making a move, mushing up on the right-hand side. Very fascinated. We have 1 Shield Maiden coming out from Crusaders. Let's see how well these Shield Maidens come in from. I think it might be a mistake. Crusaders going in from 1 direction. Switching over to the left-hand side stairs. Another squeeze. Again, Every single one of Crusaders going in from one direction. This Treb hits themselves instead, but two of them hits big onto the Medals. Getting squished really hard for Crusaders here as they force their way through. But Iron Reapers coming up through the backside, are blocked by other Iron Reapers, taking massive hit. A lethal march also blast right through. Man, this is a confusing fight as Crusaders seems to be crushed. That Treb, very good. Another land straight into the center of Medal Pile. And the supply point has been grabbed, interestingly enough. Being grabbed. Um, Realizing that holding the A point while that supply point on the wall is not available, retreating out from the A. Very interesting that they would do this even though they just crushed Crusaders really hard. But I also do think that retreating is a good option. Really need to preserve units, especially since gaining this victory doesn't seem to have changed the uh, unit deficit very much. I probably didn't have a look at the unit deficit from the start, but it does look like around about 50 or so, like maybe 50, 55? Yeah, 55. About 50, no, 45 unit difference right now. Staying here on the left-hand side. I'm not sure what Crusader is planning. Again, I think, although they are grouping up a lot, I do think they could choose a slightly different approach when assaulting. Brute forcing through this when both sides are using tier 5s can be a little iffy. Can change drastically, but the Trebs are coming through. Let's see if it lands. I bet it's not going to hit. It hits the... Yep. Looks like. Ooh, only one successfully made it through. We have a ballista being built. Probably a good option right now. Need to poke out the enemy just a little bit. Massive Thunderstruck coming out from Lanzi. But the battle has kicked off with the Iron Reapers just cleaving right through the center of that medal. Split on two fronts here. Not sure which side needs to commit more forces, but amazing pike play coming out to stopping the entirety of an Imperial Pike March just now. Crusaders is dominating pretty hard here, but the one of the flanks have fallen, although the losses are staggering for TKT. TKT is losing ground like crazy. The battle is not in their favor, and they will have to retreat yet again. Crusaders have beaten out TKT massively in this turnaround. 50 pushing the unit deficit by to 140, 139 to be exact. That is 4 whole units, and when it's a 10v10 like this, that means that I'm pretty sure that TKT is probably down to their last few good units. They still have Medals, they still have Iron Reapers, but whether or not they can beat out the 625 units from Crusaders, I know most of them will be lower tier units, but they doesn't seem to be appearing. We have one Demented Pikeman coming out from Crusaders here on the right side. Halberdier Sergeants being deployed. Halberdier Sergeants may be able to deal with the mass infantry. Phalanx formation across the wall, not really good to be like that. You really don't want to have your formation split up by a wall. But coming in from the west side, from behind, well, from the west side ramp, Crusaders has stacked up pretty heavily. Another mortar being deployed. Interestingly enough, does land hard onto the front section. Not a direct hit, but I'm pretty sure they did take somewhat of some damage. Maybe. Crusaders rushing in, having the cheap units go in first. Very good idea to soak up a lot of the main damage, but does look like some Medals coming out from TKT, coming up through the center, but they're about to be countercharged by a Iron Reaper. 3 Iron Reapers here at the front. 3 separate squads of Iron Reapers here at the front, chopping away at the Medals. Medals trying to hold position. Whoa, TKT tries to CC them, but the Iron Reapers absolutely dominating the Medals here. Iron Reapers, when you have enough Iron Reapers piling up and they don't get one shot by the braced Medals, this is what happens, and the Iron Reapers just dominate. Very good usage of the Iron Reapers coming out from Crusaders. Definitely soaking up the anti-charge bonuses that the Medals have by throwing in a unit before them. Has a line of Keshig, don't know what you can do with it, but the attrition is too much. An attack like this was too much. Very interesting to note that Crusaders did get the supply point early on. This is very, very good. Unfortunately, TKT choosing to retreat at that scenario after a massive victory, giving Crusaders ground and time, was probably a bad, bad move. I personally would have said get to the supply point, stop them at the supply point, reinforce the A point, force Crusaders to um, act immediately, because the faster you act, the faster the enemy has to act in order to maintain advantage. When advantage is gained, attackers start steamrolling, and it becomes a death spiral for the defenders. And that is what we saw just now. TKT giving up ground was the mistake of the game. But having a look, we do see that it is a struggle to get kills coming out from TKT, but the hero kills out for Crusaders is still pretty high. Even though we didn't see very many spears, we saw one spear, might have switched out, but yeah, he did switch out from a musket from the start. 3 muskets probably all bombed the wall in order to get in. Unit kills can be a little bit skewed in smaller maps. One outperforming by up to 1,053. 700 above 700 is an entire warband's worth of units. Very good performance out from the top 2 of Crusaders, but do not discount TKT. They do have top performers as well, but only committing half as much, only achieving half as much as Crusaders at the current time. Defending on this map really depends on commitment and positioning. I could say that about all maps, in fact. But Linwu Fortress even more so when you have more limited resources. Only having 10 heroes available, 10 units available, supply line becomes even more critical, because when you have an extra unit versus not having an extra unit, it becomes the difference of life and death. And having an extra medal popping up once one of your medals fall is massive. Supply lines are always important, but even more so when you are 10% of the force. An extra 10% of the force could definitely change the tide in an instant. I've seen some really incredible supply point spawns where a bunch of units just spawn right on top of you, right on top of the supply point, and they're getting attacked, and all of a sudden the battle just turns in an instant because all of the units have just spawned and the enemy is either unsuspecting or attempting to take the supply point back, but having to beat out all of these fresh units that literally just spawned on the spot, it is incredibly hard. Definitely not something you would want to, not definitely not something you want to struggle against. Stopping the supply point, always very important. Just stand on top of it, should be able to stop it, but nonetheless, we are heading on to the second attack of Linwood Fortress. This time, TKT is going to be able to attack. It could be a short battle. It could be a long battle. Crusaders is up 2 points right now. 2 more points and they win. TKT really needs to be careful and not drop too many matches. If they let Crusaders win another match here on Linwu just before they even get to the pick ban phase, it could be detrimental performance for the remainder of the finals. Just waiting on the next set of battles. Alright, the second battle for Linwu Fortress is about to begin. We have Crusaders up 2 points now with TKT still at 0. Second battle of the finals. TKT not looking at a good spot right now. Let's hope TKT can win their attack. Keep up with Crusaders at the very least. Could be a short day, could be a long day. But the second battle of Linwu Fortress will begin. We're probably going to see the same setup with both Medaus and Iron Reapers, but we'll take a look at the unit composition nonetheless. 4 muskets coming out, swapping out one of the short swords by the looks of it, having triple pike. Definitely see very, very similar lineups. The Shield Maidens is an interesting pick. 2 Imperial Pikes versus 1 Imperial Pike. 1 Imperial Pike out for TKT and 2 for Crusaders. It's interesting that the Imperial Pikes are still important, but we also have 1 Axe Raider out for both teams. So let's see how well the Shield Maidens do against this high tier 5 pile. Their buffs are very potent, plus 250 armor and 20% damage. That is incredible. Stronger than the God of War buff from the Glaive, which only gives 15%. A little bit of a spread out approach. 2 guys here on the supply side looking for the ladders. 2 guys there on the well, two guys on the west side, 2 guys on the east side, and the rest on the south side. So 6 guys here on the south side. 2 guys actually going for the front gate, so it is going to be a split. Good idea. This will be very good for TKT if they can get Crusaders to be to overcommit to one of the sides and crush and basically trade. You want to create space. You want to get in. You want to definitely make Crusaders move in predictable patterns. staying together could also be important as well. Together you are strong, divided you are weak. But that is the same for the enemy team. What you can do, the enemy team can do. But what the enemy team does not have is trebs and tons of artillery. With a natural unit deficit of 132 out for Crusaders here. Sorry, out for TKT. So Crusaders is 132 units up on TKT. That's around about 4 units worth. TKT poking their head around the front gate could possibly sneak on through, head towards the supply point side. Honestly, I would go for it. Go through the front gate. 2 of you guys versus 2 of their guys. They're at the front side of the gate. A lot of TKT switching over to the east, to the west side. I mean, to the east side. Switching back by the looks of it. They went one way, now they're going the other way. A ballista in an optimal position to shoot at the wall break right now. Interesting Treb. Gonna hit basically nothing as it comes in too shallow. And hits the wall. Gonna have to play it a bit risky. They're on the east side gate. 3 heroes do go in. Battle has kicked off. Come on, cameraman. Let's get in it. Medals versus Medal. Iron Reapers chopping through that Medal very easily as an Imperial Pike March also comes out. Small victory here. Gotta win the battle as well. Take out that Ballista. Regroup. Cutting off... Well... Oh, you're going to get sandwiched here on the stairs, and it's a very difficult position to defend as it is a kind of flip around corner. Really need some Iron Reapers down here. We got 2 sets of Medals. Big pike play. Sacrifice of the Medals at the bottom of the stairs, wanting to secure this A point instead. Both teams are clocking down units, but it does seem a little bit of advantage to TKT as they close in on the natural unit deficit. But the only problem is that easy access to the supply point makes Crusaders extraordinarily deadly. Unfortunately, we have plenty of pikes making a mess of the front line and the Medals super easily. Iron Reapers gotta really take out these heroes. That Ballista just took out another person, or at least definitely damaging you. That Ballista, the unit's already here. Retreat out. My goodness, you made some progress, but you've lost it all here. Really need a return. Bam. Low. I mean, too high. 1 low. Where's the last one? Probably hit something else. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Unit deficit increased now since the return by. I would have called for a retreat after the small victory. Would have definitely went for the supply point on the back on the east side. Definitely not would have went for the A point. That is very unfortunate for TKT, making a tactical blunder. A lot of tactical blunders, in my opinion. My goodness. Another Ballista takes out TKT's hero. That is not looking good. I'm pretty sure that guy's probably on his last life now. TKT got to be very careful when on the approach for this on this broken wall part. That Ballista overwatching is definitely aiming for the heroes more than he's aiming for the units. The units are just extra sauce. Trying to wear down Crusaders with some mortars, but not going to be very effective in this scenario. Really need to be careful as the first assault has failed. You're probably down to your second unit. Second unit is only a tier 5. Once this tier 5 goes, you've got no chance left, and Crusaders still has a little bit. Just a little bit. They've only lost around about 4 units worth of guys. Iron Reapers, damn it, not prepared here. Lethal Much should have came in the moment they activated the 2. Big hit. CC, chain CC, getting sandwiched here on these stairs. Not a good look for you when this is happening. But Crusaders takes out one of the heroes. The heroes are dying like flies here out for TKT. Two more just went down. but a surround here on the A point. We'll probably grab it here. Big friendly fire, though. 7-7, so we did trade heroes at the very end here. Medals versus Medals. Which Medal's going to win? You need to break up the formation, but the formation does seem to be massively in favor of Crusaders as they push in with more and more units. Treb going to hit high. Damn it! Last Treb did not come in, or it hit something else. That's not looking good. I think that's a wash for TKT. TKT losing out. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate for TKT to lose here. So it does. I'm gonna call it there. Crusaders does have massive victory. Probably nothing you can do in this scenario.
Scatter before my might.